Look, across Australia, there are real concerns being expressed by farmers. I've made mention of this many times, but if the farmers can't get their harvesting done and their crop off, then the food in the supermarkets won't be there. And what is there will be at astronomical prices. You've heard my views on this. I've said that university students, and I just said it to the two women on the panel, who can't travel overseas in a gap year, should be given a HEX debt discount to encourage them to help harvest crops and pay them for doing it too. I mentioned the same thing with prisoners, discount the prison sentence. Instead, the federal government has a joint standing committee on migration. What the hell's that got to do with the plight of farmers? The harvest is on. It's got to start. They don't have workers. Mark McGowan, the Premier of WA, who shut everybody out, now finds there are 7,000 jobs needed to get the harvest done after a bumper season. And the number of available overseas workers, as I said to Amanda, has plunged from 140,000 to 70,000. Add this to drought. 60% of Queensland is still in drought. And you've got this koala fiasco in New South Wales. Well, James Jackson is a vet, very reasonable bloke, I might add, from Guyra in New South Wales, but he is the president of the New South Wales Farmers Federation. He joins us via Skype. James, thank you for your time. Firstly, to the harvest, how bad is the predicament?
It's certainly a crisis point, actually, Alan. I think the idea of not having enough labour with this bumper harvest that we're looking at in New South Wales, as you said, in Queensland, it's not quite as good, but certainly in New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia, it's looking like a pretty good cereal harvest. And, you know, we do need casual labour for that. And the horticultural crops, we need labour for that. And we are looking, and it's 5 minutes to midnight on this, Alan, because it's starting to become the busy season for horticulture. So,
well, I should say to our viewers out there's a blueberry farmer at Tabulan. Tabulan's between Casino and Tenterfield. Who's offering $50,000 for workers. In other words, if you work and sign up till the end of December, you'll go into a lottery, and they'll draw the tickets out. The first one will get $10,000. The second one will get $5,000, and there'll be $35,000 for $1,000 rewards for those who want to work. So there you are. It's Tabulan, and it's Mountain Blue Farms. Now, James, I mean, thank God for Barilaro, because if Barilaro hadn't opened his trap in New South Wales, this koala thing would have gone on. Now I notice the Save Koala people are even saying that this regulation is ridiculous. How bad is it?
It's terrible, and it's not only terrible for farmers, it's actually terrible for the koalas. I mean, we've got a state government who have not proven to be great koala conservationists. A lot of the koalas on the, in the state land, in the national parks, were killed at Christmas due to these crown fires. Now, on private land, largely those koalas survived because we actively manage the landscape. It's because we graze underneath it. It's because we use thinning codes to make sure that the canopy's not thick and we don't get those crown fires. Now,
the koala habitats were burnt out simply because the Greens refused to clean the forest floor. Now they're wanting to make the farmers. But people have got to understand, you are bound, whoever's watching me now, I bet your place is on a map. Have a look at this. This is Green Valley. Now, Green Valley is the pink. Let's go to Campbelltown. These are residential areas. There's Campbelltown, the pink. Can you believe it? Koala habitat. And then we go to Newcastle. Have a look at this. Newcastle, one of the big cities of New South Wales. The pink are koala habitats. James, are you making any progress with the government of New South Wales?
Look, incremental. They're still seeing us, but they're sort of doubling down on this. And it is unfortunate they've come to the position now that, people have painted themselves into a corner on this. They've tried to paint farmers as koala killers and, people who don't care about koala conservation. It is not correct. Our interests and the koala interests are largely aligned. I mean, we control feral dogs because they kill our lambs, but they also kill koalas. We put in fire breaks. We control the canopy so we don't have catastrophic crown fires. They also kill koalas. Right. We control feral pigs. Absolutely. They kill koalas. We actually look after the koalas far better than the state government.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we'll see what develops next week. There are some pig-headed people there, but I'll tell you what, if it weren't for Barilaro, this issue would never have been ventilated. Dr. James Jackson, thank you for your time and that beautiful gyra up there between Armidale and Glen Innes on the northern tablelands.
Absolutely. Good.